Welcome to Shutter Talk, a podcast by It Gets Better Creative. I'm Jesse Kiermeyer, and this is where sports, media, and storytelling comes together behind the scenes. I'm sitting down with athletes and creatives to uncover what really happens behind the scenes. So today we have Cat Wong, originally from Los Angeles, now sitting and shooting at ASU. So she's currently working across a bunch of different platforms. You covered different types of media and content. You covered everything from the women's Final Four, which is awesome, to bowl games, to music festivals, to everything in between. I found you on Instagram at Captured by Cat with 2 C's at the front, and I'm going to add that in here, obviously. But what stuck out to me was you being at ASU, because I'm a huge ASU fan. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to get to know who you are, what you shoot, and how you got into all of this. So my first question for you is just tell me a little bit about you and what current projects you're currently working on right now.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm a sophomore at ASU, so I'm studying journalism and mass communications with a minor in public relations. So a lot of my studies really doesn't have like a lot of correlation with sports media, but I found out that I really like it just because I grew up an athlete. So I do a lot of sports photography on the side in addition to like what I'm studying. And then like current projects that I'm working on, I'm actually on like a month leave because I was just so busy in February and March. So I'm actually not doing anything right now. So I can like take a break and breathe.
Have you ever gone through a season where you've experienced burnout or something like right now where you need more rest than normal? How did you push through that, and how did you kind of like identify that you needed that time apart?
Yes, I have experienced burnout. If I want to like point directly to a time, I think it was like right before like Christmas of last year. I did the Rate Bowl in Phoenix, and I was doing like hockey, I was doing volleyball. Volleyball had made it really far. I was like prepping for the bowl game, and that was really nerve-wracking. And so like right after the bowl game, I came home from like my dorm. It was my first time like going officially home, and I just like started crying. And I was so upset because I was like, I just like worked probably the coolest game of my life up until that point. And I didn't know why I was so upset. And my mom was like, I think you're just tired. And after that, I was like, oh my goodness, maybe like I don't actually like this. I just worked something super cool. And like I didn't really get the fulfillment that I thought I would, so maybe I'm like in the wrong career path. And I remember my mom looking at me and being like, I just think you need to take a nap. And I think like during winter break, that winter break was like perfect for me. As much as I didn't want to go home, I definitely recognized that burnout and definitely should have like recognized it earlier and kind of taken a break. But I don't really regret doing all the work that I did last year because obviously it set me up pretty successfully for this year. But I definitely think I would have like taken more time to be healthy.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's so important. Is there anything that you feel like you're going to kind of prepare yourself better on this year to make sure that you don't run into that, or make sure that you kind of take care of yourself better this upcoming year?
Listening to my body and knowing when I need to stop. I think my mind is so excited to just get involved in so many things. And I mean, obviously I'm like living out my dream and just like prioritizing certain things, like putting what I eat as a higher priority on my list. Like maybe even if I like eat before a shoot, like eating a sandwich or a salad, because I feel like when I was younger, I was just always go, that I didn't really care. So definitely like setting myself up more for success, like getting enough sleep, not doing too much during the week if I have something on the weekend.
How did you first get into photography and content creation, and what made you realize that this is something that you actually wanted to like do seriously in your life?
Well, I grew up an athlete. Like my whole life, I was playing softball. I was a cheerleader for a little bit. I did sidelining competition. I was a dancer for like most of my life, but softball was kind of like the big one. I always had like a tier of sports that I played. I played softball, and then it was cheerleading, and then it was dance. And so I've always been an athlete. And so I never really thought of like the other outside life besides being an athlete. Like I wanted to be a college athlete. I wanted to play for UCLA softball. And I made varsity my freshman year. That was one of my goals. And I like obviously re-signed up to play sophomore year, and I had like the worst sophomore slump of my life. Like I wasn't producing what I should be. I completely fell out of the lineup. Like I was taken off as a starter, and then I was taken off entirely, and I was entirely like sat on the bench. And I just realized that like I wasn't having fun. I didn't like it. And I realized that there was like so much more that I could have been doing with my time. And so I quit softball, and it was a lot more than that, but like definitely one of the bigger reasons was like I just wanted to try something else.
Yeah.
And I had so much free time that I didn't know what to do. So I was signing up for electives because my elective was softball. And my mom was like, you should just take intro to broadcasting. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I don't know what broadcasting is.
Yeah.
And so I went into tour like our studio that we had because I went to a bougie high school.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I guess this is cool. And I actually ended up falling in love with it. And I ended up being the sports director my senior year, learned all the ins and outs of broadcasting, was an anchor my senior year as well. And then I also had another open spot on my schedule. And so they were like, you should do yearbook because you're obviously very gifted in media.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, I don't think that you understand. I have no experience in this. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just got thrown into yearbook because everyone said I was a good writer.
Yeah.
And then my photography or our yearbook advisor was like, we have some extra cameras, like you should go out on a shoot. And I went out on my first Friday night football game, and it was the coolest experience ever. I just feel like it's a testament to like letting people tell you what to do, because I feel like my whole life I thought I knew what was best for me, and so like having people tell me, hey, you should do this, you're good at this, and actually listening has produced so much success. And I owe that all to like my advanced digital broadcasting teacher who just enrolled me in the class.
How did you like feel when like you were on the field for the first time?
I was overwhelmed, and I was really doubting myself because I had been a athlete for so long that I wasn't really used to the role of like being behind the scenes, not being noticed, because you know your role as a photographer is like to be as invisible as possible so that you can get like authentic moments. And so it was confusing for me, and it was humbling. And I think my first experience of that was like the guy got a touchdown, and I was like trying so hard to get a picture, and I wanted to celebrate with all my friends, and I was like, oh wait, this isn't about me, like I need to take a picture of this guy. And I think like that was the first time I realized how kind of beautiful it is to like witness a moment and get to take a picture of it and have it not be about myself.
What is a typical, I know this month's like a little bit different for you because you are taking a little bit of a break, but what does a typical week look like for you when you are actively shooting? Honestly,
I think no 2 weeks are the same, because as I'm working at Arizona State University, I don't like directly work with Sun Devil Athletics. I just shoot for a lot of like outside media publications. So like they're the ones that get me the credentials, and I just like sign up based on the free time that I have.
What is your best advice, I guess, for people that may feel like they're wanting to cross that bridge to actually want to work with, you know, media outlets and things like that? What's your best advice for people to get there, I guess?
I think to be okay with starting small. And so like with photography, like to be okay with like reaching out to a high school. I took pictures for my high school team, and then I also did pictures for like nearby high schools in the league, and also just to, like follow the path of the job that you want. Like pick somebody that has the job that you want and be like, what did you do to get here? Like you can't have an ego.
I feel like the space sometimes feels a little bit more, you know, competitive versus collaborative. So what is your thoughts on, you know, trying to, at least for me, my goal, at least, you know, with this podcast, talking to people, is just to have more of a collaborative space. What are your thoughts on that?
There are instances where I think I've found it to be more competitive than it is collaborative. I definitely think that it does tend to get competitive, but I think in a rightful way, because there are only, as you said, there are only a few media spots, and that's okay. And I think like a hierarchy exists for a reason. I don't think that people should like totally abolish that and give everybody media passes, because then what are we working for? You know?
I agree.
But I do think that like you can find collaboration within that competitiveness. I don't think that high competitive attitude should go away.
That's a great answer. I'm going to give you some quick fire, like fill in the blanks, okay?
Ooh,
so I guess think quick, okay? Number 1, my camera roll is currently full of...
Selfie.
The hardest sport to shoot is...
Hockey.
because
It's so fast. In the photo hole.
my go-to snack while working games is,
Jalapeno chips.
and one word to describe my shooting style is,
Personal?
if I'm not shooting, you'll probably find me.
Either in bed or hiking or line dancing.
I asked on Threads, I'm gonna interview some people, and I just was asking people like if they have any questions for like some sports industry photographers. One of the questions was, do you feel like having knowledge of the game before you go into the sport makes it an advantage for you?
Yes, 100%. But I think knowing how the process works, knowing like when tip-off's gonna happen, knowing like, oh, like he's probably gonna pass it to him or she's
Yeah.
probably gonna shoot from here. Like that is really important to get timing down, especially.
Yeah.
And then also just to like be able to track the ball and to like know, when the quarter ends to switch sides of the field, things like that. Obviously isn't impossible to do if you don't know the rules, but it definitely does make it easier.
Is there anything else that you want to share at all?
I will clarify, if the camera roll question was like, my camera roll is full of like a certain sport, it is
Yeah.
full of basketball because I overshoot basketball crazy. My
I love
iPhone camera roll is full of selfies. That's my
Girlies.
official camera roll is basketball pictures, but yeah.
Yeah, mine is like BTS of me shooting, and my camera is actually like the shots, and then my phone camera roll is like BTS. But
Yeah,
Kat, thank you so much for
definitely.
coming on Shutter Talk and sharing your story. It was so amazing to finally meet you. We have been talking for so long on Instagram. Plug your Instagram.
Oh my gosh, shameless plug. Actually, yeah, full
Yeah.
shameless plug. It's Captured
Do
by
it.
Cat with 2 C's at the beginning because the normal Captured by Cat was taken. So if anybody wants to give that up to me, let me know.
We want it.
Hand it over.
Is there anything that you're like looking forward to work-wise in the next couple of months? Anything fun that you're doing
Ooh,
or wanting to
well, I am like literally taking the whole summer off. I will be a summer camp counselor, but
Oh.
when the fall comes around, I am so excited for Arizona State football. Especially coming off of like kind of the most disappointing season ever. I'm excited for it to be up and at 'em again. I'm hoping that our good friend Cutter will lock in.
Well, I'm so excited to see you on the field. I'll be in the stands. I'll get some BTS of you from the stands.
Girl.
But thank you so much for listening. This is Shutter Talk by It Gets Better Creative. I'm Jesse, and we'll see you in the next one.